what's going on, everybody? Thank you so much. Welcome back to The Missing Link. I am your host, Miss Sabrina. And today, let me tell you something. I have Mr. Harley Morgan here. If you guys don't know who Harley Morgan is, you have been living under a rock, okay? He is the fashion icon, the fashion curator. He is Mr. Fashion DMV DC, Maryland himself. So what an honor to have you here. Thank you so much for joining me.
No, thank you for having me. Such an honor and pleasure to be here, Sabrina. Thank you.
I appreciate you so much. I wish I had, so I want to be able to talk to you a little bit more because honestly, like we didn't really have time, but I am a huge fan of yours. I've been a huge fan of yours for years and years and years. I've been following you for a while now, and I've seen the amazing shows that you've put on. Your style is impeccable. I'm like, how did he know to put that with that? The way that you dress, just everything. I'm a huge fan of yours. I just want to definitely to let you know that before we
Well,
even
thank
get
you so much. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you.
I give props where props is due. Like I don't be blowing smoke up people's booties or anything, but I'm gonna give you your props because you deserve them. Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You
Thank
are
you so
more
much.
than welcome. All right, let's get started. Everybody knows here on The Missing Link, I don't waste any time. I just jump right into it and let's go.
Okay, cool. Let's do it.
My very first question to you, Harley, is who is Harley Morgan?
Well, let me see. Um, I'm Harley. A lot of people in the industry refer to me as legendary H&M. I am a model and talent agency owner. I am a fashion show producer. I'm a fashion entertainment curator. I'm a dad. I'm a humanitarian. Um, I'm me. I'm here. I like to make things happen. I consider myself a dot connector. Really big in the fashion industry. I do a lot with the marketing of a lot of fashion and beauty brands in our area. Um, if you're in this area and it has something to do with fashion, more than likely my name is going to be in the mix. That is my world, and I love my world.
Yeah, your world loves you too.
Well, thank you, thank you.
So, let everyone know, where are you from? Where did you grow up?
Okay, well, I'm from DC,
Okay.
born and raised. I was, you know, born in DC General. I know a lot of people know that same story. I grew up uptown DC, Rock Creek area. Um, went to Eastern, went to Roper, graduated from Bowie State. Everything DMV is all me and my upbringing. My parents as well.
Okay, wow.
Yeah,
Okay. So let me ask you this because I always ask everyone that is originally from DC, do you love go-go?
absolutely,
I
absolutely. I grew up.
was like, wait, I was
Look,
waiting.
I grew up on go go. I think it was a bigger force back when I was growing up than it is now. Um, I'm a product of UCB, so like that's the band that I really grew up with.
Uh-huh.
Like literally, like from their first show, and just saw them develop. That is who I developed my love of go go for, and with. But yeah, huge fan of go go. Backyard band, junkyard band, Northeast Grooves, all of those people. I'm true go go fan, like true to the heart.
See, I don't know exactly how old you are, but you're talking like we're about almost like the same age.
Oh, look, so this year in November I turned 40, so I know
Wow.
a little bit about a lot.
Right. Wow. Wow. Okay. I didn't realize like you were like you're mature, like you're very mature and 40 because honestly, like you look young though. Like you look like you like 33, 34 years old.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm gonna take that. I don't have no problem with
Yeah,
that.
you look like you're like 33, 30, maybe 35ish. You look good. Honey, we just don't crack. That's all it
No, we
is.
don't
We
crack
just
it
don't
all. We don't
crack.
crack it all. A lot of people, when I tell them my age, they're like, "You lying? You got to be lying." But no,
Right. That's
that's
why I'm like, he's talking like he's from my era. I'm like, that's not right.
look. And you definitely don't look like you anywhere in that area. So
Honey, I'm way further than you even more. But this is your interview. This is not my interview.
they say, all right. Back to the interview. Back to the interview.
Okay, okay. So growing up, like 7, 8, 9-ish Harley. What did Harley want to be growing up?
So it's funny. It's the complete opposite of what I am now. Complete polar opposite.
Mm.
Growing up, so I was like in a shell. Very introverted. I didn't do like big gatherings and none of that type of stuff. I wasn't even a fashion person. I mean, my parents were, so they dressed me. So that wasn't really my thing. But I think, I always was like the leader of the pack, though.
Mm.
Everybody that I was with, I was always the leader of the group.
Mm.
Um, but I wanted to be a pediatrician growing up. I wanted to be a doctor. And I went to Eastern. For those of you that were our products of DCPS, back in the day, every high school had like a school within a school.
Mm.
So my school within the school, I was in the Health and Human Services Academy. They prepare you to go to college for pre-med. So I did that. I excelled in that and got to Bowie State. Took my first biology class, and I was like, "Oh no, hell no, this is not for me. I can't do this. This ain't gonna work. Can't do it. I can't even. I can't. I'm not gonna even waste no money on this. I can't do this."
That's good that you found out early, because a lot of people spend a whole lot of money, have a whole lot of loans, and realize 2-3 years into it, they're like, that's not what I want to do though in real life. And they've, I mean, in real life, that's some real stuff.
Oh yeah,
And that's
very
why,
very early on.
yeah, you have to really follow your heart. You have to like not lie to yourself about that, so
Absolutely,
that's
absolutely.
good
So
because
yeah, I wanted to be a doctor. I thought I was just gonna have a traditional, nice paying job and be a regular person. Um,
you said a
and
regular person.
just go to work, come home, do your thing. But then I did my first fashion show, and that
Mhm.
changed my whole life,
So as
literally.
a model, you did your first fashion show?
Hmm.
How old were you?
Yep, I was 16
Mm.
in the 11th grade. No, yes, 16 or 17, one of those ages.
Mm-hmm.
I was in high school, junior year. And after that first show, like when the curtains open and the lights go on, and everybody is yelling and screaming your name, and just the whole vibe, I was like, oh yeah, I this is addictive. I can't not do this.
Right, you like, I feel like Hollywood up here.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. I completely understand like the entertainment industry and how it's
Mm,
addictive. Like it is that feeling it never ever dies, even to this day.
right.
Yeah.
Dang. So because you didn't get into being into pediatrics, do you sometimes feel like, dag, I wish I would have, like, do you feel like you've missed a little bit of your calling, or you're like, no, I'm glad I didn't. This is exactly what I should have been doing. I'm glad I realized it early on.
No, I don't regret that at all. I definitely feel like
Hmm.
that shift was divine intervention. Like I
Yeah.
was supposed to be in this space, what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like I just didn't know it yet. My powers hadn't developed yet.
Right.
So that's how I feel. No, I don't regret that at all. Not one bit.
Good. So 16, 17, Harley, you did your first fashion show. What did you do moving forward? Like, did you just keep doing fashion shows? Did you start getting into styling? Like, where did you take yourself after that show and you realized, you know what, this is it?
Yeah. So after the first fashion show, I just kept doing fashion shows, fashion shows, fashion shows. Um and like there's this myth that in our area, I don't know if you've heard it before. You're a designer, so you may have heard it before. When models in our area like learn how to walk, or after they become like a runway model, they
Mhm.
think that they are a model. Like that's all it is to it. That's a DC myth. So there was a modeling agency in DC when I graduated high school. The year 2000.
Mhm.
I do not recall the exact name of the agency, but I went to a go see, thinking I had all the makings to be a signed model.
Yeah.
And I got there, and it was the most humbling experience I've ever had.
Mm,
Um, they broke me down piece by piece by piece, and I left there like, all right, well, shit, maybe I'm not what I thought I was. Like I wasn't taught all of these things they were telling me. I was only taught how to walk.
right.
Um, and I left very, very defeated. I left angry, and I just kept saying like, I have to be the person to tell my people, because at the time all of us just wanted to do fashion shows. I was like, I have to tell my people like we have more work to do, like a lot more work, if we're gonna really, really try and do this.
Yeah.
Um, and that took me to Bowie, and that was while I was transitioning to college. So I went to Bowie State, and I became the fashion show director at Bowie State,
Mm,
where I had the ability to instruct and tell people this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it. Um, so that was me stepping into being that vessel to teach.
right.
Um, but then the core group of people I used to be with, um, we would always be together doing fashion shows,
Mhm.
walking up and down the promenade. Um, I eventually turned my group of friends into the first modeling troupe that Bowie State ever saw.
Wow.
Um, and that spiraled into a whole phenomenon, that, a lot of people know modeling troupes now, but that started with what I did there.
Okay.
And that's where my agency idea came from. It just developed from a modeling troupe.
Wow. So when you okay, so were you going to Bowie State? Like, how did that all originate? How did it all start?
Yeah, I was so when I left high school, Bowie State was the only school that I applied to, and the only school, so I got accepted there. Went there, and like I said, when I got there, of course, I looked for the fashion shows. I did one under the direction of someone else, and then I began to do my own and take over homecoming and all that stuff.
Hmm.
But by that time, I had developed a modeling troupe, so I had a following, and people never saw it before, so it was new, and everybody was intrigued. So it was a popular thing, um, and that's literally history.
Right. So you took on this director role at Bowie State, which is so amazing because it's so crazy the things that are presented to us early on in our lives, and we don't even realize how monumental it is. It's that small little thing back in the day, and you probably didn't think how big of an impact it would end up being because moving forward now in your life, you have an agency called Row the Agency.
Hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, okay, so because it's so funny because when I do these interviews, it's like I know you, so it's like I want to talk to you, like I know him, I don't got to ask these questions, and it's hard for me to communicate with you. I don't know you personally, but just from social media and me following your work, and it's so hard for me to really. Okay, so with Row the Agency, I need you to let everybody know kind of what that is. How did the Row the Agency start, and what is it?
Okay. So, Row the Agency is a model, talent, and marketing agency. That is my official business in the state of Maryland.
Mhm.
Um, it spawned from my modeling troupe venture at Bowie State University. So when I was transitioning out of college, I had been building, I had been sharing knowledge with the models that were there. Like I had decided I wanted to be in this industry, and whoever
Mhm.
was in this family, they were going to have to be a part of it too.
Mhm.
And that just meant you had to learn and know everything that was needed to be competitive in that industry, and that is still the mission today. We take models and talent and we develop them in house, um, several different ways, several different methods to ensure that they are competitive in whatever arena they choose as their as their arena.
Mm-hmm.
So we develop print models, runway models, lifestyle models, promotional models. We develop actors, actresses, musicians. We develop everyone up to a point where they are meeting the standard of the industry.
And
And
that's
then
good.
we begin marketing and representing them once development is done. So that is the model of my agency. That's what we do. That's what we have been doing for several years.
So do you accept men, women, children? Who do you accept in your agency?
Yes, we accept men, women, and children. We currently have men, women, and children on the roster. We have 22 models in total.
Mm-hmm.
That is inclusive of men, women, and one child model. Um, and we're not the quintessential like industry standard agency.
Mm-hmm.
We have shorter models, we have plus size models. Um, we have the full gambit because there are businesses that don't cater to the industry standard. And so,
Mm-hmm.
we target those businesses as well as those that target the industry standard.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the full scope of what our agency does.
Okay. Is there an age limit? Like, no, like starting at 2 years old? Like, do you do babies? Like, what is the age limit, the youngest you'll
So
accept?
currently the youngest model we have is 11.
Okay. Okay.
In the past, we have had models as young as 4. That
Mm.
is the youngest that we've had. I am not opposed to having children that age.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the relationship and communication with the family just has to be right.
Exactly.
I don't mind it, but it just has to be right. It's not we don't accept everybody. It's a very exclusive mix. I don't have model calls or any of that stuff. Everything is handpicked.
Mm.
Um, but if people inquire, we do review everybody, and then we reach out to whom we feel is a good fit for us.
Okay. So in order, so since you don't choose everyone, what is the process that you go about to actually to figure out and determine exactly who will be placed in your agency? So
Sure.
what
So,
qualifications? Yeah.
yeah. So our process, I mean, it's very simplistic. I don't mind sharing.
Mhm.
We start by asking people to submit like 3 to 5 images. Don't have to be professional. They can be pictures of you in your house, in your kitchen, on your balcony, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
We just want to kind of capture. Well, we want to see how well you're captured on, in print. We can kind of determine, what your presence in a photo would look like from your images.
Mhm.
From there, we review your experience if you have any. We review your social media. We want to make sure people are representing themselves right before we choose to represent you.
Mm.
So just a note to anybody that's watching,
That's what I was getting ready to say. Like,
social media and the way you represent yourself is important. Um, if we review your social media and you are doing things or posting things that are in conflict to the type of people that we want to work with,
mhm.
um, you probably will not get a call back. And that's not discrimination. It's we don't want to be hypocritical. The type of people that we work with have a certain standard about themselves and a certain image, and we like to hold that across the board. Um, Once we've reviewed all of that, if everything is cool, everything looks good, we will then have a meeting. The meeting is an opportunity for the talent to meet our leadership board. We can share what our goals are. We want to hear what your goals are, what your
Mhm.
interests are, um, and we all decide if there's some synergy there.
Mhm.
If it is, we will invite you in person for a runway coaching session, as well as a meet and greet with the other talent. And if that is a good fit, then we will offer you a contract.
Wow. Okay. So, and I just want to say this, I just want to reiterate this just a little bit. Folks that's watching this now and that will be watching this later, absolutely your social media presence is so important. And this speaks for, I think, any business. How you present yourself on social media, it really does matter, because as an agency or a corporation or a business, like in a sense, you both are a reflection of each other. So if you on there like popping off and doing all kinds of crazy stuff on social media, it's kind of like, like if he or she is doing that, like, do I really want them a part of my agency or a part of my brand? So definitely that's huge, huge, huge lesson, guys. Just be mindful of how you present yourself on social media. So I'm definitely glad that you did mention that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that goes for all industries. Like if you're just looking
Right.
for work, period, they are reviewing that stuff.
Honey, yes, they
More,
do.
they check that more than your experience, really. And
In
so
real
people need
life,
to know that.
a
Our
lot of
people need to know that.
they don't get it. They don't know. They don't know. And I'm glad that that was mentioned. It's just an unfortunate situation, because the person, like you said, the person could be absolutely qualified for the position but won't get the position. They won't get that call back because of their social media platform.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. So after your models get booked or get signed to your agency, what services? Okay. Say for instance, I'm a model. I'm brand new. I've never modeled before. I sent you 3 pictures in my kitchen. I don't have any comp cards. I don't have a portfolio. I don't have anything. So a brand new model coming in, what services do you provide for them? What do you offer them when they
Sure.
first come
So
into your agency?
we have extensive model development. So,
Mm,
you know, um, you're going to learn the fundamentals of print work. You're going to learn the fundamentals of runway. Um, we have introductory brand management that all of our talent goes through also,
mhm,
because this day and age, most most talent that most models or people in the entertainment industry, they have multiple things going on.
mhm,
And so if you have another idea or venture or project or something else that could be marketed and put in the atmosphere,
mhm,
we do some fundamentals on how to do that, um, and how you can get your own business venture moving also while being represented as talent.
mm,
So we do
wow.
all of those things. The model development comes with portfolio development also, while you're learning the fundamentals of posing and print work and all the different classifications of print work, like commercial and lifestyle and beauty and et cetera, et cetera. Your portfolio is getting built, and then you'll get a portfolio review to determine if it's time for you to reach our main board for booking.
Mm,
Once you get to that point, we start marketing you to our clientele. Um, we get inquiries. You're now eligible. If you meet the requirement for booking, et cetera, et cetera. So your development is very, very key. We do that first. We do that in house. We have in-house photographers. We have in-house beauty professionals. So everything is there for the talent.
okay.
Um, I facilitate workshops. We call it professional development, whether it's just learning industry news or industry terminology or the brand management piece or how marketing works. Like I do a lot of facilitation personally, but it's really a big holistic preparation that goes on before we move on and start promoting.
Understood. Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm like behind the scenes coughing a little bit. I'm sorry. I'm a little under the weather, but I showed up. So, is there a fee? So, like with the photo shoots and the branding and the marketing, everything that you offer to the models, is there a fee for like each individual one, or is it like one fee to join your agency, or is there a fee at all?
So the way we do it, it's a couple answers to that. If you go through our entire process and you have nothing but green check marks, we'll accept you into the agency, and you don't have to pay anything.
Hmm.
There are certain like there's certain shots that a portfolio may, require that a cost may be associated with for that particular model. But you don't have to pay like a development fee or anything like that, because at that point we are working in tandem. We're working in partnership. Um, and if you do well, then we do well. And so that's how that works. Um, if you do not meet the criteria and we are not able, or we don't feel like we're a good fit for each other, development services are available to talent for a fee. All those things that, that we provide for our talent is also a service. So we do service people that are interested in breaking into the industry, but they're not necessarily signed to the agency. So there are, people can pay for those services, and then you can move on and do what you need to do, but not represent it. So that's how our business model works.
What kind of shows or productions, what are your models? What are they booked for? Like, is it commercials? Is it fashion shows? Is it like, what kind of work do you book once they get to that point, of course, after they've kind of graduated that to the next level?
Absolutely. So it's all of those things, because all of our models aren't the same kind of models. Some models are really focused on like beauty and whatever comes with beauty, like campaigns and editorials and those type of things. There's some models that are only strictly interested in commercial. There's some models whose preference is runway. We have some talent that they only want to act. So based on the goals that are set for each talent, that's what we market them to, and we attempt to get them booked for. We try to get we book people for, so there have been our latest booking. One of our beauty models and high fashion models, she just did a product shooting campaign for an emerging vintage brand. One of our other models just did a commercial for Volkswagen. In the past, we've done one second. In the past, we've done commercials and photo shoots and campaigns for, the likes of Crown Royal and Ciroc. And we've done some work under Diddy's marketing agency for our lifestyle and brand ambassador models. We've done some things fashion wise with like department stores like Lord and Taylor and Saks and different things like that. We work with the emerging like local boutiques and brands. And then there have been some of our models that have worked with some mainstream brands like Pure Moss. So there's a full range that models have been booked for. It just depends on what the model has an interest in.
Right. Now, if they're with your agency, can they actually go out and branch out and get work on their own, or is it just work that you book them through your agency?
No, they're able, to, if they get an inquiry from someone and they want to, book them for something that doesn't necessarily come through the agency, they are able to do that. A lot of times, our talent, they'll still send them the agency's way because they're not interested in negotiating and doing the business behind it. But they're able to. That is in the contract. They can do that.
Oh, okay. So the jobs and the jobs that you just mentioned, so they get paid for these jobs.
Yep. Okay. They do get paid. There are some opportunities come about that are just for exposure, like, like New York Fashion Week. Just some work for our amateur models. It's not compensated. It's for the experience. But a lot of it is compensated.
Right.
And so they have the option, it's always the model's final decision if they want to do it or not. we're just the conduit for the opportunity, and they take
Right.
what they want.
Right. And so real quick, and I should have asked this earlier. So as a starting model, what are the basics that a model should have? Like, what should they have? Should they have headshots? Should they have like a comp card? Like, can you tell us exactly what a model would need? Like starting off and they're going to do a go see. Like, what
Mhm.
will they need?
Sure. So you models should have a headshot, you
Hmm.
know, a very clean, very little to no makeup. Ladies, your hair should be out of your face. Gentlemen, if you have hair, your hair should be out of your face. Well lit headshot, just to see your features, your bone structure, your neck to shoulder ratio, like all that stuff is important. Um, Models should have digitals. That's a industry term that just basically means just clean shots that show your actual frame. So a head on, full body, a photo to the side, a quarter length photo. Those are things that if you're, especially for fashion, people can kind of guesstimate what your frame and your shape looks like.
Yeah.
Stay away from clothes that are not form fitting or fitted. Um, and then when you start talking about portfolio, again, you should be able to have a spread of things that you should be able to have a spread of imagery that kind of shows that you can do every type of genre or classification of modeling. So you should have something beauty, you should have some fashion, you should have some commercial, you should have some lifestyle shots, you should have some editorial shots. And so that way people can see you like on the whole spectrum. And if they're envisioning their line or their brand with you, they can see that you have range in your look.
Right.
So those are things that I believe all models should have. You should have a resume that outlines the work you've done. That's
Hmm.
obviously an ongoing thing.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that's like a great starting point. Like that keeps you competitive.
Hmm.
Obviously, you want to have a comp card, whether it's digital or a physical one.
Hmm.
All those things keep you competitive. Because
Right.
everybody's going to come with something.
Right, right. Now with social media, should they have a separate social media account for their modeling? Like, like I have my Miss Sabrina Soul. And if I wanted to model, should I have like a Miss Sabrina Soul model page? You know what I mean? Or is it okay to have like to advertise myself on my personal, or should I have like one that's completely different?
I think it depends on how you want. It depends on how you're branding yourself, and it
Mhm.
depends on how you want to be marketed, and it depends on like your page aesthetic.
Mm.
So I think there are some people that can successfully have one page and show that they are a man or woman of many talents. Some people can
Yeah,
do that very well.
yeah.
But it's also your choice. If you want to have just fashion on one page and just your modeling work on another page, and just your personal life, like you traveling the world on another page, that's totally fine. But it's up to that individual to decide, do they want to get creative and put all of their worlds together, or if
Mhm.
they want to have them all separate and manage all of that, because that is a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a
It's a
lot.
lot.
It's a lot
Because
of
I
work.
have a few Instagram pages myself, and honey, it's
But
hard.
maybe I got four, and it's hard.
I'm about there too. I'm about there too. And every day I sit and think like, how can I get rid of one of them? Like, but so I feel you. Okay, so now like moving forward, so with the fashion shows, what fashion shows have your models walked in?
um, so I mean, there've been. Forgive me, I don't know all the shows and
That's
designers.
that's fine.
But models have been in New York Fashion Week.
Mm,
Models have been in DC Fashion Week.
hmm.
Um, there are other like big shows that pop up. They're just a one-time thing.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of times we get called, for models for those type of shows. I wish I could, because we receive so much information, and I don't book everybody myself. I don't know the shows specifically, like the designers or whatnot.
Right.
I will be honest. We haven't had any models. We've only had one model reach like the mainstream runway, like for Pier Moss.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, and that was it was beautiful. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Um, but everything else has just been high caliber shows. Some paid, some aren't. Those of you that are interested in runway, unfortunately, runway is not at the top of the totem pole when it comes to getting money. It's really like for that's for your networking and your exposure, and you
Right.
take that and turn it into social currency and do what you got to do with it. But it's not the most lucrative form of modeling, just so people know. But it has to be done at times, and so we do it. But we've done runway and runway shows up and down the coast. Some have done some runway shows on the West Coast as well. Just different designers, whether they're emerging or like there's this gap between, like, it's not really emerging, but it's not the mainstream. So it's another layer of designers that people really, really fight for those spots to be in. I'm proud to say a lot of our models have reached that plane. Um, but yeah, that's what our runway show record looks like.
Right. And just to let everybody know that a lot of times, most of the time, a lot of these fashion shows are taking place during Fashion Week. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And during Fashion Weeks, there are a lot of different shows. And there is one amazing show that happens during Fashion Week around the DMV, and that is Indie Fashion Week. So,
Yes, it is. Yes, it
so
is.
I want you to tell the people what exactly is Indie Fashion Week, and then we can jump right into it.
Sure thing. Indie Fashion Week is my newest baby, y'all. Um, so Indie Fashion Week is a platform for the emerging designers, like fashion designers in our area, as well as the established designers and the boutiques, the beauty brands, the lifestyle brands. It's a space where we can celebrate and honor these brands, as well as like transfer that love to revenue for them. We really, really encourage people to shop local and shop indie. Indie obviously means, this is a brand that you built and you are putting the foundation together piece by piece, and you're always looking for new clientele.
Yeah, because I was
And
going to ask
we
you, how did you come up with the name?
Yeah, so indie is short for like independent, like
Mm,
independent fashion brand or
I love
designer
it.
or whatever. Basically like a non-chain, like nobody necessarily funds or fuels your passion or your brand. You get it the way you have to get it, and you make it happen the way you make it happen.
Yeah.
And this platform is for you. Um, I so from doing so many fashion shows in the area, I do fashion shows a lot. I'm a fashion show producer, like I mentioned. I noticed that a lot of the designers and the boutique owners, they get complacent with doing a show and doing a pop up, and with the clientele that they have, and it doesn't, it just kind of plateaus right there. When they are so creative, they're so good at what they do. The things that these people make, like the mainstream, a lot of the mainstream couldn't even touch it really. I just felt like we needed to celebrate this more and give them that extra boost and that additional fire to make them do more. That is how that was the vision and how it was born and birthed. We started in 2015.
Wow.
Um, we do, you know, we do 2 cycles a year. We follow the
Mhm.
fashion calendar. And then it's always a search for, the DMV's next, top fashion or beauty brand. And we put them
Mhm.
all together for a week. It's not just runway shows. We have parties, we have workshops, pop-up shows, a little bit of everything. So you get to see the designers and these brand owners in different lights. So, after you've experienced someone at a networking party, and then you see their work in a show, and then you hear them speak at a workshop, you're more apt to support them because you really really feel them now. You get where they're coming from.
Mhm.
They're knowledgeable. They're real, and more than likely you'll support them. So
Right.
that's what that model is about. Just really really getting people to support these fashion creatives we have.
So you said that you so a lot of people don't know what the cycles are. So explain to everyone, like, what are the 2 cycles that you do host Indie Fashion Week?
Okay, yeah. So we do fall winter,
Hmm.
which is usually in September. Usually the last week of September. We're not big enough to compete with like New York Fashion Week, so we don't do it in the early September. We do it like the last week of September,
Yeah.
and usually like the last week of February or the first week of March. We're always in that ballpark for spring, summer. Um, that's what I mean by cycle. So our string of events is called a cycle. That's what that means. And we usually do a 7-day spread.
Yeah. Do now with your fashion shows that you do you only use role models? Like,
No,
who are the models that you use for your fashion shows?
no, 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 no. It's open call. We always do a model call. The ROE models have to audition also, so they're not automatically accepted.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, nor do all of them audition. A lot of them just come and support. But we have a big model call, and anybody is able to come and audition. People travel, literally come from different cities to audition. So it's absolutely not just ROE models. No, not at all.
Wow. That's good to know. That's good to know because you guys do have an agency, so I don't want people to be like, "Well, I can't do it because I'm not a part of their agency."
Yeah, no,
So that
no.
is
Please
good to know.
come. Please come because it actually it becomes a networking mix.
Mhm.
Um, the designers find models that can be their muses. The
Mm.
models find beauty professionals that they fall in love with, and they use them for different projects. Um, people in the audience, they're buying clothes and they're actually booking makeup artists and they're working with models. Like it's just one big mix.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm most. That's what actually makes me happiest. The happiest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What type of designers can actually showcase their work at your fashion shows? Like, is it specific designers? Do they have to be like emerging? Can they already be so? So I guess okay. So emerging is kind of like a designer that's brand new because we're me and you we're using these
Yeah, we're
terminologies
using the
because
terms.
we know
Yeah,
what.
you're right. You're right.
That's
You're
why I
right.
keep saying like I have to
My
be
bad.
mindful of how we talk because
My bad, people. My bad, people.
me and
So
you we can have a whole conversation and they're like, what are they talking about?
right. No, my bad, folks. So no, it is open. It's open like for the emerging brands. It's open for the more experienced, established brands also. Um, Typically, what we do if we have an established brand, they are like the end cap of a runway show. It's almost like a build up. Like this is what consistency brings you, like that type of thing. Usually those established designers are the ones that make it on the panels if we have them, or are facilitating a workshop of some sort. They're usually put in place to share what they've done so that others can do the same thing.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, But the emerging, well, not even just the emerging, anybody, we like all classifications of fashion.
Mhm.
So we look for streetwear designers, we look
Mhm.
for ready to wear, we look for high fashion, we look for vintage resale, we look for editorial or avant-garde. We look for it all every cycle. Um, we don't showcase everything every cycle because every cycle, offers something different. Um, we usually have a good mix though, but everything is not always represented, but
Mhm.
everything is welcome.
Right. That's
Yeah.
that's that's amazing to know. So anybody that's out there that's looking to be an inspiring model, you guys need to check out Row the Agency. And if you are a designer looking for a home or somewhere to showcase your designs, definitely check out Indie Fashion Week as well. So let me ask you this: how can the models or the designers register to participate in Indie Fashion Week?
Sure. So we have two websites. So if you're a model and you're interested in, getting reviewed for the agency, or you want model development, or any kind of inquiry, model agency or model related, then check us out at rowtheagency.com. If you are a fashion or beauty brand interested in being featured, or working with Indie Fashion Week, then check out indiefashionweekdc.com and submit your inquiry there. And they will both be handled, as soon as possible. And we'll get you started that way.
Great. That's good. Good to know. So, what do you like most about being in just having a modeling agency, being the creator of Indie Fashion Week? Like, what do you love most about what you've created?
Um, I think what I love most, the work is transformative.
Mm,
And so I get to see, people come in like, I think I want to do this, I think I can do good.
mhm.
And that turns into, I am here. This is my world.
Yeah.
And that's what models or designers. I've seen the same transformation
Mhm,
in both. And to be blessed to provide that type of space,
mhm.
um, that fills me, you
Yeah.
know, beyond words.
Yeah.
So that's I would say that's the best thing for
Yeah.
me.
I understand to provide that platform. That's how I feel about the missing link. Like
Yeah.
you feel it really fills you up. You feel full and you're like you feel accomplished and you feel like I've done my job for the day and like I'm so proud of myself and and it's just an amazing thing because you're providing a service just not it's just not making you full but you're actually providing something amazing for other people and giving them a platform like you said when you went to that go see and they were like you need to work on this, you got to do that, you got to do that, and you're like whoa, like I didn't know. And
No,
now that you know, like you can say, I need to let my people know. Like that's huge, huge. And I
and I,
commend you.
and I think that was my calling. That is what I
Yeah.
was put here to do, to let
Yeah.
people know and to connect the dots.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest recent accomplishments from Indie Fashion Week. Shout out to everybody that was, supported and participated. But we had a designer come from, uh, what part of Virginia? He was some far Virginia. I forgot. It's beyond Richmond.
Hmm.
He came. He called, and he was, he was interested, but you could tell he was like, he's had some experiences with fashion shows. Like, I come and
Hmm.
I don't really sell anything. Whatever.
Hmm.
He came to our opening night. I told him, I said, our people are gonna love this stuff.
Mm.
And he came with 12 looks and he left with zero.
Oh, that honey.
Literally. Them people, after that show, after that last scene ended, that audience found him and they literally bought everything from the runway.
That's
Um,
a
and he
designer's dream.
he did that twice in 1 week.
Wow.
He came to the opening show and he was at the closing show, and he left both times with nothing. And so that you can tell it empowered him a different way. I could see it. I felt different talking to him, and I could see it in the way he posts. He was proud of himself, and I
And
feel
he
like
should
that
be.
that type of that type of energy and having people tell you how great you are, and they're sharing your work and they're buying your work, he's going to go back and he's going to create something much better than that.
Yeah.
That's what our platform is about.
That is so amazing. That is
Exactly.
so amazing. That's so amazing. Okay. Oh God. Because I feel like we can touch on that and talk so much more about that, just because it's so relevant to me with the missing link. I hate to keep bringing it up, but it's so relevant. So I
Yeah.
get it. Just connecting the dots and just okay. So you explained what you love the most. What is the least that you don't like about what you do? And it could be nothing, it could be like,
Well,
no,
I
I
think the
love it.
least thing, like, and again, like, you have a platform, so you probably can understand. Like, when you have a
Mhm,
platform, or you have a service based business model,
mhm.
coming to grips that you can't help everybody. You know,
No.
somebody is not going to be as satisfied as the person before them sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes, it can be a tough pill to swallow when you have different aspirations for that person or that brand.
Mhm.
But it's just, it just doesn't happen. And, that just comes with the territory. But, it never feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
think that's the worst thing.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of a like me, because I do so. It's like being a seamstress or a designer and creating something for someone, and they're like, "Nah." You're like, what? You're heartbroken. You're like, wait a minute, or like a chef or a cook cooking you something, and then they taste it and they're like, it's all right. You're like,
Yeah.
what? You're
Exactly.
devastated.
When you know that you was doing your part and doing your job. Yeah, it don't hit right all the time, but it comes
Yeah.
with the territory.
Yeah. I
You know,
get it.
I've
I get it.
I've grown to, I accept it better now, but at one point it would really, really bother me.
Yeah, I get it. I'm the
Yeah.
same way. So I completely understand. I understand. It's kind of like that feeling of like disappointment, like, dang, I disappointed them, or, and it probably had nothing to do with anything that you did, but it's just that feeling of so I definitely understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so let everybody know where they can find you and where they can follow you on social media and your websites, everything.
Sure. So I am legendary H&M on everything. You can find I'm most prevalent on Instagram and Twitter. So legendary H&M. You got to spell out and HANDM. H&M is my initials, y'all. In case y'all didn't catch it, Harley and Morgan. Um, if you're interested in Row the Agency, any modeling inquiries, like whether you want to be the talent or you want to book the talent, check us out at rowtheagency.com. Um, you can see all of our models' full portfolios. Um, you can see past runway shows. We have a blog. We have a shop. This is literally a good time on our website. So
Mhm.
you can check that out. And if you're a designer, or, a beauty brand, or anybody in that space that would like to be featured in Indie Fashion Week, or if you just want to attend Indie Fashion Week, visit Indie Fashion Week DC. Send us an email. There's a contact page. And just just state your interest, and we will get back with you and get you in the loop as we're preparing for September.
Mhm.
So I think that's all my contacts. It's pretty easy, y'all. Row the Agency is Row the Agency everywhere. Indie Fashion Week is Indie Fashion Week everywhere. Check it out. Converse with us. Be social. We're gonna be social back. Um, and we just doing our part. We just doing our part.
Yeah, that's all we can do is just our part. That's it.
That's all we can do.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Harley Morgan, for joining me. And you guys definitely need to follow him on social media because his style is impeccable. I'm telling you, every time he post something, I'm like, dang, that's tight what he got on. So you definitely want to follow Mr. Harley here. Also, to all his handles, his social media handles, and his website they're already in the description box below. So as soon as this live ends, if you want to follow Harley, just go down below. All the information is there. Thank you so much for everyone in the chat. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you to all my soulmates. I see you guys. Thank you to everyone in my soulmate community. I love you guys so much. Thank you to all the viewers. Thank you to everyone that's going to watch this replay. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below what you think about this interview with Harley. And don't forget to contact him and connect him if you are an aspiring model or a designer. He offers everything that has to do with the fashion industry.
Everything.
And real quick, do you take people out of the state? Like if they're in Pennsylvania or New York, or do you work with people like outside of the DMV area?
Yes, we do. Okay. We have right now we have models on roster that are in Philly. We have a couple in New York that are being considered, as well as there's another state in there. But yes, we do.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's amazing. So it doesn't matter where you guys are. You need to sign up. Go follow Harley now. And anyway, I love you so much, guys. Until the next link, I'll see you then.
Y'all have a good one. Thank you so much.
Thank you.